Today on Studio G, Elena Ledbetter informs us of a dangerous new drug popping up in the Nevada's surrounding states.
Reporter Jordan Hardy will tell you why this week's football game is the most important of the season.
And Bri Padilla will sit down with Sam Tula, member of UNLV's winning solar decathlon team.
All that and more right now, it's Studio G.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Studio G. I'm Christina Davies.
And I'm Shelly Salvito. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, UNLV President Neil Smatresk is expected to make an announcement today that he will be leaving the university. He is expected to take a position at the University of North Texas, but it will not be confirmed until later today. Board of Regents member Kevin Page has said this potential new job would take him closer to his family in Texas. We will keep you updated as more details emerge.
A new drug easily made from everyday household products has a community concern. Elena Ledbetter brings us more details.
Last month, the Drug Enforcement Administration released a report about a new drug that is hitting the states. It's a flesh-eating drug that destroys the body from the inside out. It's called crocodile, a mixture of coating and toxic chemicals such as gasoline. Be aware the images you're about to see are graphic. Crocodile, originally from Russia, has made its first appearance in Utah and Arizona last month. The highly addictive drug that's injected has fatal consequences for the user, causing veins to collapse and gangrene to develop. Where gangrene appears, scales form later and the flesh begins to rot away. This drug has many in the Las Vegas community concerned.
I can't compare it to anything else on the planet. It's instantly addictive, and it'll kill you within 2 months.
Del Shalacy, Program Director of Substance-Based Issues, counsels families with drug-addicted children. The Clark County School District sees on occasion children in junior high and high school handling drugs, primarily marijuana. CCSD Officer Brian Zink sees that children do not understand the severity drugs can have.
They see it on TV, they read about it on the social media, it's glorified in music videos and things like that, and they don't know the consequences of the actions they take.
Drug education starts at home, according to Zink and Shalacy. And for parent and boxing coach Richard Steele, he hopes that the drug crocodile never comes to Nevada. At his gym, he teaches his kids about living healthy, drug-free lifestyles.
Make them aware of the things that could hit this neighborhood or hit the schools or whatever. We try to make them aware of the danger of alcohol, drugs, and other type of tobacco.
Many ask why some inject this drug or others into their bodies if they know the harmful consequences.
Because your brain says, I gotta have that stuff. Because addiction is a brain functioning or malfunctioning disorder.
And to keep this drug away from Nevada, Zink, Shalacy, and Steele believe communication and education are some of the key solutions. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Elena Ledbetter.
CCSD has resources and information available to students and parents about emerging drugs, such as crocodile. You can find this information at ccsd.net.
The recent shooting death of an African-American woman in Michigan by a white homeowner is causing national upheaval and reigniting the racial debate in this country. Reporter Tommy Laren takes us a closer look.
Racial issues have deep roots in our nation's history. The media plays a critical role in race and racial perceptions. Trayvon Martin's death in 2011 sparked a national controversy that continues to flicker today. The recent death of Michigan woman Renisha McBride has reignited that flame. The question is the media intentionally and unnecessarily fueling the racial blaze? 19-year-old Renisha McBride, an African-American, was killed by a shotgun blast to the face in an incident that occurred in the pre-dawn hours of November 2nd. Around 3 a.m., McBride stumbled up the front steps of Theodore Wafer's Dearborn Heights residence. Wafer told police he thought someone was breaking into his home when his 12-gauge shotgun accidentally discharged, killing McBride. McBride's family said she was probably trying to seek help after a car accident when she arrived at the man's home. They believe she was racially profiled. The toxicology report revealed that McBride had a blood alcohol level of more than twice the legal limit for driving. She also had marijuana in her system. Dearborn police say that there was no indication that race was a factor in the shooting, but civil rights leaders are calling foul and are pressing for a thorough investigation of the case. Whether or not the shooting was racially motivated is unknown. The media, however, is not shying away from discussing the ongoing case in racial terms. Journalism and Media Studies graduate student Jason Hawley isn't surprised by the media's coverage of the case.
The media certainly integrate race as a salient factor for these cases, and as such, people tend to view race as a salient factor because people tend to get the majority of their information from the media. Really, race is only attributed insofar as the media attributes race to these events. So if the media were to look past these, or if they were to look past race in these events, there perhaps could be some changes in the societal mindset of this thing we call race.
Sarah Montez de Osha, also a Journalism and Media Studies graduate student, believes the race card is commonly played by the mass media.
It keeps the viewers intrigued. It keeps people talking about what's going on. They're trying to construct this view for us to see race in a certain aspect and see these differences in people. So I think they use it to their advantage.
Cases like Trayvon Martin and now Renisha McBride remind us that although we are progressing, the United States is far from colorblind. For Studio G, I'm Tommy Laren.
54-year-old Theodore Wafer was charged with the death of Renisha McBride. We will keep you updated as the investigation unfolds.
The anniversary of John F. Kennedy's death is just 2 days away. Studio G reporter China Green has the story.
As history was unfolding at Dealey Plaza, radio and telephone communications squawked between the Air Force Command Center, the White House, and Air Force One.
Wayside, this is Situation Room. I read from the AP Bulletin, Kennedy apparently shot in head. He fell face down in back seat of his car. Blood was on his head. Mrs. Kennedy cried, "Oh no," and tried to hold up his head.
Earlier this year, these rare audio recordings were discovered in the personal effects of General Chester Clifton, Jr., a military aide to President John F. Kennedy.
They want a post-mortem that needs to be done under law at Walter Reed.
Forensic audio and video expert Ed Premu was tasked with remastering and piecing together the new tape with older incomplete copies.
It's spine-tingling. It gives you goosebumps when you listen to it.
The result is an unflinching account of history unfolding in real time.
That is correct. That is correct.
We're hearing several commanders communicating logistical information about interrupting everybody's plans because the president was assassinated and what it's going to take to get them to all come together and deal with this disaster.
The president is on board. The body is on board. Mayor County is on board.
On the tapes, you can hear the military using code names. LBJ is volunteer.
We're waiting for the swearing in at the plane before takeoff. That's a volunteer?
John McAdams is a political science professor at Marquette University. He says these recordings are not likely to be the last pieces of history to surface.
The truth is a lot of stuff fell between the cracks. This particular tape, which was in the possession of General Clifton, took almost half a century to show up.
For Studio G, I'm China Green.
50 years later, JFK's death still remains a mystery. Stay tuned for more Studio G after the break.
Battleborn, we visit the Clark County Museum located in Henderson, Nevada. So come on in. It's going to be a great time.
But our area was not part of the original breakup of counties, but when we became part of the state, we became part of Lincoln County. Clark County didn't get created until 1909.
This 30-acre museum shows you why it really is important that Clark County exists at all.
We would still be just a small town in the desert. We would not have had Nellis, the Strip. We wouldn't have the wedding industry, Henderson, gaming, and all of that would have been different. The nearest town to think of how we might have looked today if we hadn't become part of Nevada is probably Kingman. And so we've got houses from Boulder City, Henderson, Las Vegas, the county, the train depot. We've got a barn that was a homestead barn here. We've got an outdoor, what we call the outdoor classroom. It's basically 4 different ecosystems of the desert. So there's a great deal to see here.
The museum also holds the Candlelight Wedding Chapel, which has the record for the most weddings performed in a single day, 425 weddings.
It's 2.5 minutes a wedding, counting walking time. So that's the time walking in. It's basically, do you, great, out.
The community aspect of this museum is just like stepping out of a time machine.
For example, it's not just that you see a house that's been embalmed. This looks like the residents just stepped out. I mean, there's food on the table, there's coupons and glasses out and that sort of thing in the kitchen. We want people to understand how, the reality of life here. Not that, this is a beautiful house and all the beautiful stuff in it. No, these are working people's houses. This is how people lived here. Anywhere that you're at, if you don't understand why that community exists, how can you care about it?
The Clark County Museum not only shows why Clark County is important to the people who live here, but why it's also so special to Nevada. For Studio G, I'm Katie McLean. And I also think I'm late for dinner.
Thanks, Katie. Looking forward to next week's segment.
Now moving from Nevada to around the world, let's send it to the newsroom for today's international news with Farron Enos.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at what made the international headlines this week. Aid is still pouring in from all over the world after Typhoon Haiyan hit the Philippines. Logistics are improving and rations of food and water are coming in by the truckloads. The airports are packed with planes bringing in aid and people trying to board whatever plane they can to escape what they're calling a living hell. The Philippine government confirmed nearly 4,000 people have died, but looking at the destruction from the typhoon and the mountain-high piles of debris, it's hard to tell how many bodies are trapped underneath. One American charity is helping finding victims of the storm by using well-trained sniffing dogs to locate the bodies. Though the lines for food are long and finding a place to rest their heads is difficult, help continues to come and hope is still alive in the Philippines. Toronto City Mayor Rob Ford continues to make headlines, but more as a figurehead and less as a city official. Toronto City Council stripped Ford of most of his powers on Monday, and now Ford is vowing payback. Ford was heckled by the public during the meeting, resulting in Ford yelling back, and then to top it all off, Ford accidentally knocked over an elderly councilwoman to the floor. In hopes of cleaning up his image, the mayor has a new talk show, Ford Nation, creating his own world and what he claims is a way of thanking all his supporters for sticking with him. He also vows the public will see him change over the next few months, all of which he said before knocking down a photographer while making his way out of the show's studio. Mayor Ford still remains in office after admitting to smoking crack in a drunken stupor. And while many Americans are remembering the death of John F. Kennedy this week, others are turning their attention to his daughter. 50 years after the assassination of her father, Carolyn Kennedy became the female ambassador to Japan, and the Japanese people are overjoyed. Cameras followed her every move since arriving in Tokyo, and her face is all over Japanese television. The Japanese find her so appealing because she and her brother, along with mother Jacqueline, were first shown to the Japanese public 50 years ago, mourning the loss of their father on the first live television broadcast carried by satellite into Japanese homes. Aside, Kennedy was supposed to be the first president to visit Japan, but he was killed before making the journey. This new chapter for the Kennedy family couldn't be more timelier. Japanese fans lined the streets as she rode by in a horse-drawn carriage to the Imperial Palace to present her credentials to the Emperor of Japan. Well, that's all the international news we have time for today. I'm Farah Ninos. Stay with us.
This is your house too. Located on the campus of UNLV on Brussels Street sits Housel House, the Center for Social Justice. A place where everyone can participate, explore cultural identity, share different experiences, and learn leadership skills. No judgments. You are accepted, you are important, and you are welcomed.
Stand up, speak out, and change the world.
Welcome back from the break. I'm China Green. I'll be giving you your weather today. So right now at this very moment, we're at 63 degrees. It is sunny, but we may have some clouds sweeping in there, and then the wind will not be an issue today at only 3 miles per hour. And for today, we're going to see a high of 63 and a low of 52. If you've been outside, you know it feels beautiful, which is much needed. And then we're going to have a sunset today at 4:29 p.m. And for your current weather, in our area, it's fairly cold. We do have a lot of clouds, a lot of rain going on. We even have some rain in San Francisco. And then so we're here at 63 with some clouds, and then there's some rain in Bryce Canyon, and they're at 36 degrees. And for your satellite view, a lot of rain going on in the U.S. We have a lot of rain in our area coming through. We might see some of that. And then we have a lot of heavy rain in Iowa and Missouri, so make sure that you're careful over there. And for tomorrow's forecast, hardly any sun at all. We probably won't see anything in our area. There's a lot of rain. Fort Worth, Texas, you guys are going to have some thunderstorms with some lightning, so make sure you prepare for that if needed. And then we do have some sun in Augusta, though, so they're staying strong up there for us. But as far as we're concerned, it's going to be a lot of rain and clouds. And for your extended forecast, tomorrow we may see some rain. There's a 40% chance. It's looking promising, but we'll see how the day plays out. And then we're going to have clouds Friday through Sunday, and then hit back up at the sun on Monday through Wednesday for your normal Vegas weather. That's all the weather I have for you today. Now let's send it back to the desk. Christina? Thanks, China. Tomorrow, UNLV football faces the Air Force Academy, and the team is gearing up for the big game. Reporter Jordan Hardy has the story.
Let's go, boys, let's go! UNLV has more to worry about for their game against Air Force than just playing football. Try playing in 25-degree weather with a chance of snow. That is the anticipated temperature for kickoff tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Running back Tim Cornette talks about what they're doing to get the W.
Just trying to get everybody ready, just trying to get everybody mindset right. Us going out there, know it's going to be like 35 degrees, I think the latest weather thing said, and we're just trying to get everybody mentally ready for how cold it's going to be.
Another factor in the game is the Thunder offense. UNLV defense will have to keep an eye out for the rushing game with over 3,000 yards this season. Linebacker Tani Maka states the defense mission plan, plain and simple.
Stopping the run. I mean, that's all they do is run. So everybody tackle, so that's it.
And quarterback Caleb Herring sees the Air Force offense as a challenge, but also offers a solution.
Discipline, execution on each play. I think, defensively, for our defense, their offense presents a unique problem, and I think discipline is going to be a key throughout the game for us to have success on both sides of the ball.
But Coach Houck sees this game as just another week.
Our preparation's pretty uniform every week. We come and watch film, and we pay attention to detail, and we do our best to get ready to go.
The chance to make it to a bowl game with this win, something they haven't done since 2000. Will the win be as simple as Coach states it? For Studio G, I'm Jordan Hardy.
Tune in tomorrow on ESPNU to watch the Rebels take on Air Force. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.
My name is James Grant.
King Louie here.
This is Jennifer.
Crystal May Maguerza.
I'm Savannah.
Zoe here.
This is your boy Miles Lowe.
Christian FGY.
Kaylin Hype.
And I'm Jay Luna.
My Mind's Music.
Gonzo Radio.
Combox Radio.
Join us for Happy Hour.
The Miles Lowe Midweek Show.
Ill Vibe Theory.
On KUNV.
KUNV. KUNV.
KUNV HD2. 91.5 The Rebel.
Broadcast on Revcast.com.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Welcome back from the break, guys. Today we will be talking about the Solar Decathlon with one of UNLV's team members, Sam Tuala. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks so much for coming today.
No problem.
So, thanks. The Solar Decathlon is actually, it's an international competition. About 19 teams competed this year. Could you tell us a little bit more about the decathlon and what that involves? It's a 2-year competition, right?
Yeah. The Solar Decathlon is a 2-year competition that's hosted by the Department of Energy for the United States. It's really an opportunity for universities throughout the nation and the world to show what the future of sustainability will be for the future, for homes and for families. And so each school, they only choose 20 schools. Each school designs a home that is going to be sustainable for the environment that that school is located in. So UNLV designed a home that's sustainable for the desert, and Canada designed a home that's sustainable for Canada and their weather conditions.
So speaking of the project from UNLV, it's called Desert Soul, right?
Yes.
So could you tell a little bit more about what it's inspired by? I read a little bit about it online.
Yeah. Desert Soul was chosen, obviously desert, we live here in the desert. The house is designed to function in the Mojave Desert, so the soul comes from the soul of the desert is what the house represents, the soul of the desert, the soul of the Mojave, and also, you know, the soul of UNLV. So.
And you guys were second place in the entire competition, and actually of the top 3, you were the only U.S. team to win. So what was that like, competing with teams abroad, and did you get to interact with any of them?
We did. The short amount of time that we had during those construction weeks in California, we got to go and visit some of the houses, and it was a lot of fun to see, you know, how they took their perspective on design and architecture and design and engineering. Mm-hmm. But it was exciting. It was exciting to see us compete with all these other schools and to know that we were a force. Yeah.
What was the most exciting part for you? Now you worked with the fire protection part of the engineering, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah. For me, the most exciting part was just seeing everything come together. Mm-hmm. We spent 2 years designing this project, and you just see it on paper, you see it in CAD drawings or in Revit drawings, and to actually see those drawings come to life and being a part of the construction. Sometimes it was a headache because you ask yourself, why did we design things that way? Now it's harder to build, but overall it was just exciting to see the project come together and to see our house do as well as it did against other people who did the same thing we did.
And see, that's actually one of the really cool parts that stick out about the decathlon to me, is that it's supposed to be a student-run project, right? So yes. This was student minds coming together and kind of making this happen, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like? Were you impressed by any of your peers?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the strong points of our team is the fact of how much chemistry we all had together. Mm-hmm. Of course, you're going to have times when you have different ideas and different ways the house should go. Mm-hmm. But all in all, I think our team did a great job working together, from architects to engineers to communications to keeping the marketability of the home. Mm-hmm. All of those things that I think we did is one of the reasons why we took second place, is because of the team and the students that worked together on this project.
Yeah, and you guys performed in a variety of categories. I think you were first in the communications one, right? So that just shows how great UNLV can really do.
Ooh, yeah, we were first in market appeal.
Oh, market appeal, not communications.
Second,
I'm sorry, second
yeah.
in communications.
Yeah, and then third in engineering.
Oh, rock on. Well, thank you so much for coming.
For sure.
You were a pleasure to have to speak here. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back after more Studio G.
Collegiate DECA promotes personal and professional development through competitive events, community involvement, and leadership development
I joined DECA because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I got to meet people, network, and definitely work on my public speaking.
To join DECA, it's a very simple process. You have to pay a $25 membership fee. You can either come to our next meeting, our website, which is unlvdeca.co.vu.
We're open to all majors who are interested in business, finance, or hospitality-related fields.
While most people are concerned about gun laws and recent shootings, one woman would rather focus on the art she sees in bullets. Reporter Alexis San has more.
When the word bullet comes to mind, most people think of a gun. But Sarah Nagel uses her creativity to transform these bullets into so much more.
I just like to put things together out of things that you wouldn't necessarily think could make jewelry.
Sarah started off making simple jewelry pieces with her mother. As her skills advanced, she decided to change up her creations into something more unique. Her creativity was put to the test when her husband brought home a little souvenir after a day at the gun range.
My husband had brought me home this casing after he went shooting with one of his friends. And it was just sitting around for a long time. And I got these big quartz crystals and I decided to just try to fit it inside, and it worked out perfect.
Sarah's love for creating new things led to her jewelry line, Psycho Cat Wearables.
Psycho Cat was just kind of a name that I used for a long time in like screen names and stuff since I was a kid.
She often goes to the shooting range in search of rare shells to add to her collection.
My husband will spend some time practicing like his target shooting and stuff, and I'll just kind of walk around and scavenge for awesome bullet casings.
Growing up, Sarah would turn to poetry as a way of self-expression. As she has gotten older, she has turned to jewelry as a therapeutic way of expression.
Jewelry is a hobby where I can still have an artistic outlet and I get a result quicker. So it's something that I can stick with and still feel that I'm creatively expressing myself.
If you are interested in checking out Sarah's creations, visit psychocatwearables.storeenvy.com for more information. For Studio G, I am Alexis Ann.
10-second banter.
It just goes to show that the sky is the limit when it comes to creativity. I'm gonna have to look at that website and choose some different necklaces for gifts for Christmas. It's coming up.
Christmas gifts? I mean, well, I don't really like bullet jewelry, but whatever anyone else likes.
Right. Well, that's all of the news that we have for you on this edition of Studio G. I'm Shelly Salvito.
And I'm Christina Davies. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Las Vegas.